What's up, YouTube? So the New York Yankees 3-0 blown in 2004. What may have happened had they beat the Red Sox? Well, I'd have been very ecstatic. That was that was unheard of, and that still hasn't happened in baseball since. Oh, just the thought of seeing Johnny Damien and then Dave Roberts, who has gone on to be a great manager for LA Dodgers, stealing that base. That was huge. And of course, Big Papi, Dave Ortiz, those haunting. It's just like Kurt Schilling with the sock. It's just things that have haunted. As a Yankee fan, it's like you had A-Rod, you had Gary Sheffield, Jason Giambi, Clemens, Andy Petty. You had a squad. You win that World Series, you go and win everything. That's one of the greatest teams assembled as far as talent. And then you pretty much Boston. I don't know if there's no empire, but then you got to think about Manny Ramirez. You got to think about what they did. It was hard to imagine. It was unthinkable. It was crazy. So Yankees blow a 3-0 lead, baseball AL championship series. What happens if how would they be remembered if they won? I think it would have done a wonders for their fortunes. Now A-Rod came back 5 years later when they won the World Series against Philly, and that was huge. But had they done that in '04 when they had those guys, I think that there would have been a run. I think that would have been another run. I think that would have been another era in Joe Torre where it's like, wow. But, that was his last chance because Girardi got the ring. And that's the sad part, too, because Torre went out to the Dodgers. It's funny how that one World Series flipped the whole script. And then, that the White Sox won the next year. They had won the ages. And those things was crazy. But Boston had actually become a juggernaut. It'd been 86 years since they had won a chip. So that's how big that was. I think that Yankees team wins that. I think that does wonders for everybody involved. I think it does wonders for Giambi. Because Jason Giambi was kind of, on the fence. And then it does wonders for Gary Sheffield, too. That would have been huge. That was huge. That loss was huge. They would have been an incredible team. It would have been incredible, you know. Then Johnny Damon probably doesn't come to Yankees, and then the legacy of David Ortiz is probably not that thing, and Terry Francona. So all that stuff was a 180, a 360 flip. It did wonders for, had the Yankees won, had they not blown that 3-0 AL Championship Series to Boston and won, they'd have been remembered as a great team. I could still see George Steinbrenner's face kind of like in a trance because it was unheard of. It was still the strangest thing that ever happened in baseball. I can actually say I've seen three of the most wow. There's been a lot of that in professional sports the last 25 years. You know, dynasties look like they're coming, great teams being put together, situations, and then they lose at the last 11th hour. And this was one of those situations where it was like, wow, you gotta be, it's just one of those things where it's kind of like, wow. But, it happened. And, it's just one of those things that it was like, I couldn't believe it. It really was a Twilight Zone. So, well, please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another initiative if you like, and hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free, stay true. And I'll catch you next time. And I never got over that '04 Yankees blown. That one still haunts to this day. I'm out.